Hello there everyone, this is iMark3 and welcome to a trial video, actually. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do much content with this one, but there has been a little bit of interest from a few of my friends, so I thought, you know what, let's give this a try, let's make an episode or so, and let's see how well it goes. Welcome to Workers and Resources, Soviet Republic, with proper Russian music in the background. I don't know, I seem to like the Russian music. Anyway, this is a city building simulation game where you are managing your own little Soviet state, I think, really. It's kind of interesting, but anyway. It's just going to be pretty basic, this, and it's just chill out and build your stuff more than anything. There's only one map by default so far, but we'll go for Eastern Europe, medium hills. Eastern Europe is where a lot of the old Soviet Republic splinter states were, so it makes sense. Let's crank this up to hard. Honestly, hard. It's the only hard thing about it, really, as far as I've seen, is like. You have to work hard to get your citizens satisfied, you have to do energy management, you have to worry about fires and pollution and stuff like that. You also have to educate your people too, so it's like it unlocks a bunch of stuff which is locked if you have it all disabled. But in itself, no great challenge. Except there's actually only a very limited amount of money to start as well. Mind you, when we get in there, it'll look like a lot of money, but it is going to be quite limited. Anyway, just need to let this thing load up now, and see you in a few moments. Oh, here we are, in the East European place of something or other. Yeah, I have no idea if this is realistic or not, or if it's just like a random simulation, but hey. This is a starting map. And we've got some good old patriotic music going in the background as well. Now, since we had maps and things preset with people, we have got some towns in place, including churches, which for some reason you can't build yet in this game. I hope they change that later on, but hey, it'd be nice. But we've got some towns, we've got some villages, and we've got people already living in our nice little isolated haven from the evils of the world outside, which is marked by the outer edges of this map by the borders. So here we are. My interactions with the borders and the nations beyond my realm are by these little stations and things. Like this one's got lots of road and rail connections. This one is just a road connection, but it's got a power connection next to it as well. So, you know, stuff like that. Just several points around the border, and I can go ahead and do whatever I want with it. Now, my objective here is to build up this region with $500,000 and 1 million rubles. That's what I've got to start with. We are in 1960, as I turn the volume down slightly. And I have to look after my people, because if they get too unhappy, they will escape. They will escape my communist regime and go bugger off somewhere else, basically. Yeah, this is a Workers and Resources Soviet Republic. It is a bit of a communist kind of thing. Kinda. It's like the people work for the betterment of the state, but if you don't look after them, then it actually refers to the time of the Cold War and the Berlin Wall and stuff. Like, there is actually a stat on the population. If you look down in the bottom, escapes 0, since we are on the first day after all, but yeah, people will over time escape if you don't take good enough care of them, so that is something to worry about. But you can take care of them by just, wrong button, whoops, by doing wonderful things like building monuments to our glorious leader Lenin. Yes. Lenin's concrete statue. Or in copper, we can be shiny. Of course, we have the red star of the Soviet Republic. And the hammer and sickle. Yes. Communism. Ha ha ha. Yes. Someone actually wandered into a Discord chat while I was showing this to a friend, and the guy said, "I hear communism. This is not okay," because I was just like laughing about building some Lenin statues and stuff in the background. So, yeah. There is some fun to be had in this thing, but anyway, I need to decide what I'm going to do. Now, our starting funds are incredibly limited. It may seem like that's a lot, but there really is not. And we need to use that to buy buildings, to buy materials and supplies. We need to buy vehicles. Basically, we use that for any kind of interaction where we're importing stuff from the outside, and we earn it by exporting stuff to the outside. Which, yeah, strange but true. We do export stuff. There's actually an economy kind of going on. But, yeah, we have to do that, because this will not last us very long at all. It is a very, very limited amount. There is, however, the option to take loans, so we can change our loan amount, we can change the duration of it, which of course gives us an interest rate. If we are run out of money and we have to miss payments, then that actually runs at a steeper interest rate, so watch out for that. Now, in general though, kind of want to take care of the people. Though that said, I don't actually have to bother, really, with any of the existing towns or villages. Fortunately, the game actually allows you to get away with that a little bit, because unless I start doing something nearby, these towns and villages remain unstimulated. So they'll just sit there with people in them, but they don't need anything and they're not doing anything. So they wait until you get around to it at the moment. Now, what can I do? I could mine for coal, iron ore, or oil. Oil is preferable, actually, because that's a really good one to try and export. But I need to choose where to do it. If I'm importing stuff, there is actually a cost incurred for moving it further away from the border, so the deeper in my territory I do it, the more expensive it is. And there's also the fact that this game also has a ton of industry in it as well. Like, I can actually generate construction materials for all of my stuff, and then build it that way without having to import anything, if I've got the right industries set up. But there's all sorts of different resource processing and tasks and things. There's also some locked by research, but I've not really looked that far into the research yet. I'm thinking crude oil is probably the safest way for me to go, at least right now. So, oil. Yes, there's two good spots, it looks like, for oil. I wish I could click on these things and have it lock so it keeps showing that until I select it again, but no, there's plenty of oil here, there's plenty of oil here. This one is actually right by the border, so that's a good potential option for starting up. Or I could try and connect to a town or city. I mean, there's some oil near this city up here, which is very close to the border, just up there. I think I might do that actually, so I've got some pre-built structures that are ready to take advantage of. So, the town of Zloplatsk. Look, I don't speak Russian, okay? I don't know the accent, so I know that I'm butchering that. But the oil is somewhere around here. So, Zloplatsk and Rekazbis? Rekazbis? Look, German pronunciation is weird. Okay, let's actually get started with some setup then. Now then, we're paused, so we're okay. I can decide what I want to do. I want to export by rail for bulk transit. So I'm going to be connecting here. There is a power link up here as well, so I can get electricity flowing. I need electricity because a bunch of stuff won't work without electricity. For long term, there's not really coal nearby, so I'll have to think about that. There is plenty of iron, but coal is sparse. I can always import the coal for a power plant though, so there is that. Anyway, let us begin. I can tell construction to use rubles or dollars, but there's also some uniques available, and the trade prices are different for both values as well. In general though, rubles are a hell of a lot more useful than dollars, because there's a lot more vehicles and the prices are generally more favourable. For some reason, the Western countries don't really like me that much, so... what can you do? blooming Westerners think looking down on us, the communists. Yes. So all I'm doing here is dragging out a high voltage power line, because high voltage is good. It's more expensive, yes, but it gives more raw power transmission capability, so it can handle a lot more power being forced through it. And as you can see, we've automatically spawned the region of Zodchor, because apparently buildings and things have to be assigned to a region. I don't like that, but it's how the game handles things, so apparently it causes problems if they're not assigned to a nearby region. So Zodchor is where all my transit stuff is. I'm also going to auto-buy with... Let's make this out of dollars, actually. Make it out of dollars. Yes, we make this out of money. We're going to pay for this with dollars because... Yeah. Actually, wait. This border area is for the filthy allies. The bloomin' Western communist... Sorry, capitalist pigs. No. That is actually an issue. I should have checked that before I got started. Let's use the cancel mode. I don't think I got close enough to the town to actually make this too much of a problem. Okay. Oh, that's a good hint, by the way. If you're going to be trying to delete stuff, use the cancel mode rather than the demolition tool, because cancel mode actually allows you to select nodes along the lines of roads and things and be more precise as you remove stuff. So, yeah. Okay, Zoplask, you are being ignored for the time being, though it would be good to actually do that, but no. I guess I'm left with either setting up my own place or going to making the 2-tile journey up to here, which is Lessie. Ah, the Lessie! We're only the Lessie anymore. We're going to get banished down to the planet Lessie. Final Fantasy. Ah. Okay. Yeah, we can do this. Lessie is pretty big. It's got a whole load of population already settled in it. I just have to exploit the hell out of it. So, let's begin. Now, houses, they generate people. The people walk to and from places. If they go to a station or a bus stop, then they are workers, and they can be transported to a work site, and they do work shifts there. They also search for amenities and things as well. But basically, if the travel time is too long, they basically despawn and teleport back to their residence. So that's something to be aware of. During my test games, I've actually had a look around here, and this place is actually a little bit too big for just one stop to service it properly. So, what I can do to get people out is put a couple of train stations around the place, and then I'll need shops and things to give them goods and stuff too. Something that's not really apparent, and I wish they would put in the game, is you don't know walking distances for people to get to your train stations and things. But I've worked out a way to spot that for the most part. If you get an electric substation, then you can see how it connects. It connects up to about 290 meters, and that is the average distance where people can walk as well. So if you mouse around with an electric substation, you can see roughly how far you can get people with a transit stop or a shop or a pub or stuff like that. You can get a rough idea of where you want to put stuff. Like I know one here, it'll be getting over into this area of the map. And then if I put one, like, about here, or maybe preferably in here, then that'll grab everyone else, pretty much. So, here and here are 2 good stops, and then work out the rest of it later. That sounds good. Let's do that. I want to demolish that one because it's not quite where I want it. So I'm going to forcibly move my people. I'm going to take people and say, "Hey, your old buildings, I don't like them. I'm going to bulldoze them, but I'm going to move you guys out because I can." Yep, that's everyone out there. Okay. And now I'm also going to want to demolish a couple of houses on the outskirts as well. So just telling people to get out of there. Just move them all. And I'll be back in a moment once I've got that all kind of laid out. Yeah, I'm just clearing out all the paths and things as well to get some nice little spaces. Actually, I think I'm getting rid of you guys too. I don't know if I have to demolish the houses before I actually, sorry, move out of the residence before I demolish the houses, but I'm doing it just in case, because I don't want them to magically escape like that. So that is something to worry about. Maybe I should have tested a little bit more and worked out if that was the thing, but the problem is then I'd have to watch all nearby housing and see what happens. And there's some mechanics regarding moving population, which is not yet in this game, so... Yeah, this game is still very much in development. Okay, I'm just like all that. Oh, I don't want that road there because I want unfettered access to that area. So here and here, that should be good. Let the game run slightly. I'm just letting it run because I'm demolishing physical structures, so I have to let the debris piles disappear before I can start building. It takes maybe a day or so. Oh, there they go. Paused. Right. Now we can start laying the infrastructure of our glorious republic. Yes. Yes. Okay, trains and things to take you slaves off to your workplaces. Yes, that's all I need. Yeah, that is one rather large drawback of being on hard, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. That is the fact that people are really picky, and they actually get really unhappy if you neglect more than a couple of their basic needs, in fact. I think only if you ignore like one or two basic needs, they tend to be okay. As long as you like supplying them with food, then that's alright. And a small store helps as well, but food is the big one. Electricity they need to be supplied with, they need to have access to sports, so I've just been putting down some football grounds and tennis courts and things in a few odd spots. Those are just path connected items. I've bulldozed this little village over here, and you can see how I've got 2 train stations as my major connections, and then I've got some shopping. I need to give them some culture, which can be supplied by cinemas, oddly enough. So yeah, you guys can go and watch films about how great it is to live here, then you'll be fine with that, won't you? Yes, you will. I know you will. Yes, serve me. I popped back in here because I wanted to... I'm going to have to let this run a little bit just to get rid of those houses. I wanted to mention something about the placements. So like, as you can see, there's different icons. These road ones are, oddly enough, roads. The blue ones with 2 people are footpath links, which can be linked to a footpath. The yellow within and out arrows are actually cargo connections for forklift trucks and things, like inter-building products delivery. I've not got those hooked up because I'm not really building for that kind of thing around here, but it is something that needs to be paid careful attention to, especially if you're building like a factory complex or something. But I can use those to ship stuff in from nearby buildings without having to use trucks or things on the roads. Speaking of, the footpath connections are probably the most important, and why it sucks to work in an actual town like this. Because these old buildings are really close to the roads. Actually, that's something that I wish that the game would be a bit more chill about. Like, there is a placement footprint around a building, which I think is actually overly large, like all those green dots. If it's too close to like a road, it's like it blocks it. And yet, once you've got the building down, you can place roads closer than that, and footpaths closer than that. So I wish there was more give in the building system in that sense. So it's better if you don't pack them in, honestly, but it makes placing things close together a bit tricky if you've already got things in place before, like roads and infrastructure and stuff. So yeah. I'm also going to demolish these buildings for like blocks of flats at some point, probably 120. Yeah, I can replace that with a big block of flats, and it'll be more density on it. But I mentioned this because these are so close together that it's hard to slip a footpath along it. And if you look, the roads have a walking speed modifier. Gravel roads 75%, asphalt's 95%. If I bother to get the street lights, oh, the luxury of that, street lights, oh wow, 115%. Or I can build footpaths. I could build a dirt footpath, which gives 60%, or a regular footpath, which are these grey ones here, by the way, at 112%. So that can actually increase the range at which people can get to your stuff if you connect them to this. And that's an important thing for getting population around in your city, in your areas. Like, I can, look at this, I can just get a path through here, just. I'm going to bring it around, like this. That might be too close. Yeah, that's too close, but I can get one there. So that's connected, and then that'll connect across to there. It crosses the road at that point, and then it connects around to there. And that connects as well, and that's improving the access that the people have to get to and fro from my different stores and things. And then that one can just like swing around to there, that can go there. And then this one can wander off down this way. And it provides better access to whatever. So you can see what I'm doing here. And I keep going for demolition rather than removal. There we go. And then that can just like wander off that way. So, yay, better connection all over the place. And yeah, this is not a Cosmeteer run, by the way, for those that are familiar with this game. Cosmeteer run is you must buy stuff as close to the border as possible and then actually arrange for transportation and shipping, rather than having the magical auto buy, which brings in the materials at a cost. As I said, the material cost increases based on how far it is from the borders. But honestly, I think those would be solved if the game had, like, rather than auto teleporting, it would actually spawn vehicles which carry the goods in from the nearest border point that's applicable, and then stuff like that. So that's maybe something the devs could try and go for in the future if they ever come across this one. I don't know, but there's a lot of potential in this game. Anyway, I'm going to install rail and electricity connections, and again, I'll see you in a few moments. Ah, look at this. It's not even ready yet. People are still already flowing, ready to enter the workforce. Yes, they are good slaves. Yes, they are. Yes. I'm back in here because I've spent the bulk of my dollars already, and that's just on getting the electric line set up. As I said, dollars is generally less efficient. Though it didn't help that I was building towards the Soviet side of things. Ignore those marks down there. I totally didn't forget where I was going. You know? And the electric line actually wanders this way towards the border here, where there's an electric connection. There isn't actually one over here at Krumnova. Yeah. Now, I just paused here because there is another way to go about making footpaths and things, which I'm trying to switch to using. And that is, don't have auto build on, because then you enter planning mode for your own construction, and this allows you to more easily change it, swap it around, stuff like that. Like I can see clearly where my plans are going and what I'm trying to do, and I can just very easily go, oh, I think I want to clear that out there just a little bit. Then I'll make a link there as a cross section, and then realise it won't work, and it's okay. I can just go ahead and cancel things back, and the game won't really care all that much. Though actually, if I back off a little bit there, it lets me put a node in the middle. The game's weird like that sometimes, honestly. But I want the connection to run through here, just so people can get across a bit more easily, and yada yada. Bob's your uncle, Ginny's your aunt, all that stuff. Just lets people have better access to what I'm trying to do. Now, one thing you might be thinking is, this is all planned, right? Now I have to actually build it with my own construction offices and raw materials? No, I don't actually, until I actually place some things down. I'm happy with how this looks at the moment, so I've now got the option to either start construction of the plan, or I can fund it, and it tells me exactly how much it's going to cost in terms of rubles or dollars. And as you can see, it costs me almost twice as much to build out of dollars as rubles, but it's still an affordable amount of dollars, so I'm just going to dollar it up this time. And then that'll auto build it. Ta-da! It's all done, and people are already using it. Yes. Yes, indeed. Oh, fun little fact, by the way. The shops are automatically set to buy a minimum amount of stock. They'll auto buy that stuff if they're below that amount, but you can supply them with your own produce as well, and then they don't auto buy it because it's above that minimum requirements kind of thing. Anyway, enough blathering. Right. I am here now talking to you because I am going to be setting up power. And for that I need the electric substation I mentioned earlier, which I use to work out like general walking ranges of acceptable to get to stuff. Like there's actually some, I might need a third railway station slash shopping hub over here, actually, based on what I'm seeing now. Yeah, I'm missing a couple of houses from the actual railway. So these guys are getting to slack off. And so are these guys, a little bit. But that's also partly because my path network isn't extended fully yet. So maybe another one here and maybe one over here would allow me to fully exploit this town. But for now, I think I'm okay. But I need to get the substations down where they'll be able to actually, you know, reach these people. So, substations. One road connection, one power connection. It's giving me a total resources cost, but I have to import the materials for these still. And this is vitally important to get these things down, so I'm just going to do it like normal. Like I'm just going to link it into... let's put one here. I need to zoom out to see how far it goes. And okay, it won't reach that one there, so now I know. And I'll just pop it like there. Okay. And to reach that one, I need to put one down here, it looks like. So that's on the dirt roads down there. I can do a little bit better with that one, I think, actually. Notice, by the way, that because I'm not planning this, and it's a building rather than a path route or something like that, I'm having to actually use buy mode to get it down in place. And as a result, it will try to auto build, like the road connections auto connect, stuff like that. So I do have to be wary of that at least a little bit. Are those powered? No, they're not. Okay, I do need something in here, so I'll just build something back here. And then I'm also going to use medium voltage switches. What are switches? Well, they let me separate a line. So I can't just go ahead and slap down a pole and say, hey, you now split into 3 different directions or 4 different directions or X different directions like you do in, say, Factoria. No, I have to actually have a dedicated power station or power location set, which will allow me to actually separate the line. Like I'm going to put one like about here, I guess. Okay. This will let me build a ring around the city, and I'll put one connection like, I guess, over here. Maybe about here. Yeah, about here. Which will let me just link to all of that. And then, of course, later I'll have to put it, I'll delete power poles and put in more of these as needed to split the lines. Now, I've got high voltage coming in. These are medium connections, so I need a power transformer, which has road connections. By the way, vehicles can't pass through a power transformer, just so you know. But it'll let me have one power input for high voltage to 6 medium voltage, so plenty of local power supplies available from this thing. I'll just pop it like here, and then I can get this all hooked up. So, high power voltage goes there. Yes. Medium voltage. I'm going to get the high transmission medium voltage lines just because they're more expensive, but they can transmit more power. And just like that. Something to note, by the way, is you can only have a limited angle on these guys. So if you turn too much, they won't let you connect. Like, I think I've messed up on there slightly. Yeah, that one won't let me connect like that. So I have to remove you and move you. Like, put you there, I suppose. Yep, that works. And then I just have to string these power poles around the place. Oh, different kinds of medium power lines won't actually link to each other either, so there is that to watch out for too. But yeah, this is still setting up the basic infrastructure of this little area. There is nice chilled out building music game going on in the background here though. Gotta give it that. So that's all connected. That's all connected. Now then, I suppose since I'm talking about power, I should plan for the future, which means planning to be power independent because that is actually a small source of income you can get for it as well. And that means any people I have coming out of the city will be trying to keep the power plant running too. We are just past the half-hour mark, but I want to be complete here, so right, I'll just put down a power plant at least for the moment, and I'll just pop it down around here. If we check the wireframe, this is a bit hilly, so actually ideally I want it over here, where it's a lot flatter, where I can easily build stuff. But the problem is easily building stuff actually applies to a lot of stuff too. Like there's oil fields nearby, there's iron, all that kind of stuff. Also the wireframe does actually seem to be a slight drain on computer resources as well, but hey, details. I guess over here. I mean, if you look, it's got high voltage and medium voltage inputs and things. Yeah, I guess there will do. Something like this. Also notice, by the way, this thing is 240,000 ruples to buy, or $352,000. So power plant is an expensive investment, but it's well worth it for future independence. As long as you can keep it powered, and then you can sell excess power to get money. So it's handy in that way. I'll just build a. Let's get an asphalt road. Let's splash out a little bit. Asphalt road. This thing is not meant to be drawing from these houses over here, by the way. It's actually going to draw from a passenger station, which is going to be reliably trying to feed it with stuff. So I just need to find the medium station. Oh, there it's train platform small. There we go. And anything arriving here is going to be unloading just to that. That's my plan. And then the train will move on somewhere else. So that's something else. Though a power plant, fortunately, applies power to everything nearby. I just need to get it all hooked up and stuff. Like I need a high power switch rather than a medium power version, just for this power line here. Things like that. You know, it's just like that. Now, since we've overrun the half-hour mark, where I usually end my videos, we're going to end this here for now. Yep, there we go. High power switch, which I can plug the high power lines into. I tried to do it this way. I tried to make it so that the power plant is on its own little connection. That way, if I do have a brownout and my power lines all go dead, I can just go ahead and say, oh, I'll go to the border really quickly and tell it to buy for a moment, and then that can actually reach everything, because power can't cross a building. It needs to have the lines making the connection. So if I feed high voltage to this side from the border, then there's high voltage out the other side, or medium voltages. It can't power it because the power plant's in the way, and that's kind of silly, but it's also how the game works as well. So, but yeah, one last tidbit for this video is I like to use the dirt roads, the mud roads, for connection to things like these power switches, just because it's completely free. Sure, it's slow, but I don't use them that much, so it won't be too much of a hindrance. And they are very easy and quick to place, so like that. There you go, that's now connected to the road. And that'll be mentioned why that's important later. Yes, it seems we're going to be doing multiple parts on this one. Now, off screen I'm going to do the railway link to the border, and then we're going to start playing with trains and stuff, so we'll be getting all of this stuff at least partially operational in next time. So yeah, if you guys want me to try and continue building this stuff after this initial exploration, and we see if we can keep going until my computer starts begging for mercy, then let me know. And until then, this has been Iron Mark 3, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all some other time. Yes, see you later.